Welcome to Echoes and Roots. I'm Sabine, and I guide you back to nature, to your inner wisdom and our ancestral ways of living in harmony with Mother Earth and the cosmos. Hello everybody, and today we're going to talk about a time before there were the gods on Earth and before there was worship, and what life was like when we lived here in unity with everything there is, without putting people and putting consciousness outside of us. And we have so many incredible buildings across the world that are now used for worship. So worshipping specific gods, or where we used in the past to worship specific gods, like temples and cathedrals and churches and incredible mosques as well, beautiful buildings across the world. And what sometimes really begs the question is, have they always been used to worship a deity? Or did we build them for a very different purpose? And I'm going to explore it today with you, and we're going to visualize as well and feel, because it's also about really bringing back those memories and feeling it in our body. And I like to visualize. I also learn everything through visualization. Like now I'm busy with my 1,000,001 knitting, and I just started crocheting projects, and I really, I'm buying all these patterns, and then I'm reading it, I'm like, this is Chinese. And I'm like, did somebody make a video about this? And thank God some of these teachers do have a video, because I really need to see a video of how things are being made. And but also what I'm realizing is I really like to also feel the materials I work with, and I put a lot of effort and even also money into that. The materials, like the yarn I'm using, the crocheting or needling needles are actually of really high quality, because everything is about consciousness, everything is about energy. And when we create something, a project, it's not just the fabric, or the material. It's also the energy and the love and the creation and our own vibration that goes into it. And the better quality of the material, the higher the chance also is, the higher the vibration the material can hold and already has from the beginning. And there is a huge difference when you, especially if you're knitting, when you touch 100% wool, and hand dyed and all these things, and then you compare it to acrylic, it's a massive difference. And that goes also into, right, the clothes we are wearing, the materials we surround ourselves with, and it goes also back to the buildings where we live, and how does the energy flow in the buildings we are in. And when you look at many buildings, and even when you go back, and looking at some of these incredible, and nowadays sometimes we describe them as Tatarian buildings, but let's say buildings that are supposedly from the 1900s and earlier, the beauty, the level of detail, the craftsmanship is absolutely surpassing anything we can build right now. And what has happened to us is that we had times, and actually us being really in a level highly skilled in the arts of sacred geometry, also in the arts of astronomy. Like, all these buildings have alignments. Nowadays we're starting to get back at this, to understand this, that they are aligned, to the sun, to the moon, to stars, that they are on sacred waterways, that they are on ley lines. And that means our ancestors, up to very recent, very recent time, up to 120 years ago, understood that they felt the energy, and they knew which was a powerful energetic spot of Mother Earth, and then they knew how to build on this spot to amplify the energy, and sometimes also to siphon the energy. But primarily our original task as humanity was to protect and to amplify the natural energies of Earth, and to create these beautiful structures, because this is who we are. We are builders. Really, like the Earth herself, she is very feminine, very yin. That's we can see with all the water. We are a water planet, most yin element. She has her male counterpart, which is parallel Earth. Everything has like a plus and a minus, also in the cosmos. And but when we look at Earth herself, right, the one we are all here, we humans are kind of like the masculine counterpart. So we are the ones, and together also with the animals, we are the ones walking along the sacred waterways, moving the energy, moving the ley lines, the energy in the ley lines. We are the ones building structures to amplify the energy of Mother Earth, to protect the energy, to almost like it's in a way, sometimes with the buildings we created, it is literally an amplification of that energy, and it makes sure that this energy also is stabilized in many ways. And when you look at them, this is so incredible, we have across the worlds thousands and thousands, like millions of absolutely incredible buildings where we have no idea anymore how we built this. And you cannot tell me that some sort of extraterrestrial race did this for you, for us. Not for you, for us. No, you cannot tell me this. This is us. We've built this. We had this knowledge up to very recent times. Up to 120 years ago, we had this knowledge. And because of big wars, we're losing. It's kind of like resets over and over again, because we're losing tremendous amount of skills and knowledge. But we had it, and and the amount of buildings as well. So it isn't just that we had like the elite or whoever, a couple of people in society having this knowledge. When you just alone look at, I'm German, and I like old stones. And in Germany, the number one old stones we're having is castles. It is incredible. We have in Germany known more than 25,000 castles. And not many people do research into actually the alignment of castles, but some people do, and it's so fascinating, because guess what? Like, we are being told, these are medieval people that like lived in dirt and, had no idea of anything. But how come they actually built the castles on top of important ley lines, sacred waterways, and using sacred geometry, alignments, like aligning castles to the equinox and to the solstice? And you tell me they were like, total uneducated people? That cannot be. That can just not be. Plus, so many of them. So many, like 25,000 is like, who needed all of these castles? Why did we need all of these castles? Germany is not a big country. Or when you look at other examples, like look at stone circles, for instance. Just take the UK alone. They know that there is an estimated 4,000 stone circles. And we know there were much more, because a lot of these stones have been used for all kind of things, right, throughout their time. And you think about, wow, these stone circles, we know the same. There are alignments, there are ley lines, so everybody must have felt the energy. They're on sacred waterways. The stones, same with the castles, they were resonant chambers. Same with cathedrals. The stones were very specifically chosen to vibrate at certain frequencies, to create certain frequencies and sound. The stones are absolutely heavy, and there are thousands of them. Thousands. That means, actually, when you think about this, And yes, there is like, when you think, okay, there is a certain time, like over which time we build it, but still, even when you just look at the 25,000 castles in Germany, I mean, this time frame in which castles were built didn't run like, you know, for such a long time. So when you look at, for instance, stone circles, and then many of the other, like thousands and thousands of temples we have across the world, that means the majority of the population, back in the day, we didn't have TV, we didn't have distraction, we didn't have useless entertainment, was involved in building structures to amplify and protect Mother Earth's energy. And if the majority of the population was involved in this, means the majority of the population at that time was so skilled, was so able to sense, because you have to sense the energies. If you exactly, like, this is incredible. Also the level of knowledge in terms of astronomy. You know, like, it wasn't just a couple of people who guided these projects. You need a lot of people to do these large building projects, and these were done, you know, across the world. Everywhere we have structures like this. So this really is, to me, like, that means the entire civilization was in some way or the other involved in that knowledge, and in being able to sense, to know, to observe nature, to observe the sky, to understand frequency and sound, and the power of frequency and sound. It's, to me, it's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. And it's something I'm like, are we going to go back to this at some point? Well, we don't know, because right now, of course, we know that we have a lot of things that really keep our intelligence level low, that keep us in forgetfulness, that distract us from also learning valuable skills and really mastering and practicing these skills. Because everything, this life, in the end of the day, if you want to master your life, it is about discipline. It is, because we're living in a world that literally keeps us distracted into absolute useless activities. And my cat, she woke up from her beauty sleep and now she's complaining because she wants to go outside and the door is closed. Okay, I'm gonna open the door for her. Okay, now. Okay, she's most likely gonna come back in a second. I should go to complain. The door, no, she cannot. She can open the door from the other side, so she mastered that one. She'll be fine. But you know, we have a ton of distractions going on, which keep us away from really mastering, becoming a master of our own life and of our own skills and our own talents. Because when you think back at the builder society that we naturally are, we are creators, we are builders as humans. Everybody in that society had specific talents and was working together with those talents. There were some people who were just really good, right, at different crafts, at carving. There were people who were like the astronomers, the people who were really talented in sound, the people who were feeling into the ley lines. So obviously not everybody had the same skills, but still everybody needed to understand each other in order to bring those big constructions together. And you can also, like, in a way, not tell me that when you just look at a couple of cathedrals and you look at the semantics, you look at the fractality, you look at the symbolism used in everything that's carved in the cathedral, incredible symbolism. Like, you cannot tell me that, like, the majority of building people involved in that project didn't understand it, and it was just one mastermind or something. I don't really believe that, you know. And maybe with some projects, yeah, but for a lot of them, I'm like, Yeah, I'm not sure. And then you look at what we are building now, which is really detrimental. It's detrimental to our health. It's not, and that's another thing. It's not beautiful. You know, like look at the departments or the convenience store. First, it's detrimental to our health. Because, and that is another knowledge we forgot. We forgot to understand how to build, to literally preserve longevity, health, energy, the natural energies present here on earth, to amplify them and to preserve them, fertility. Like we knew this when we look, that's why we love these old buildings, because they are beautiful. Just we look at them and we are in like, because everything, we look at it and it's harmonious. That's the thing. Like the fractality, we find it back in nature. It's built, like we build it as humans, right? But it's mirroring what's found in nature. And what's found in nature is fractality, it's beauty. It's repeating patterns, harmonious patterns. And we've done that to the buildings. And now we are building, that's like, how on earth? Like, and we don't even understand that the energy doesn't flow in a building. That's what we are learning back. That's also what I'm teaching in my class, is really for you to get back into the body, to get back into understanding how energy flows. Because when we start with our own body and when we start with feeling into our own health, we can then understand how places impact us. And what is it like when we go to a shopping mall? How does it energetically impact us? When there are certain lights on, when there's all this weird music and thousands of screens, and yeah, we have people in our society that do become number and number, and they just go to these places and feel nothing. That is us going towards the path of becoming the machine. And there's part of society that most likely will go there. But we have a free will planet. There's part of society that will not. Part of society is going to choose differently. And if you're following me, this is what I'm teaching here, is to basically build again and create again life structures, systems that serve life, that serve our health. And what serves us, if you think about, if some of humanity goes on to becoming more like the machine, a more machine type environment is also going to serve them. But it's not for the ones who are going to connect back to nature and to what is beauty. So for us, we need to create a different life. And because it's free will here on this planet, we can experience everything. There will be opportunity for us to do that. And it's the same with worshipping or not worshipping gods. So when we come to that one, let's talk about the gods. Or God or whoever, you know, like it's the same kind of thing where in our long history, you know, we had at times civilizations that used also the incredible buildings that maybe were built for different purposes. Maybe were built to just, you know, honor, feel Mother Earth, you know, to protect beautiful sacred spaces. Now, the same type of buildings were used to worship deities, gods, supreme beings that are outside of us. And it's also that idea that it comes back to this idea of that creation, that source in God is outside of us. And if it's outside of us, we can personify it, make it into a person. And then we have the whole thing going aside with the worshipping, which creates hierarchies. It creates, either you can have it both in patriarchy and in also matriarchy. You can have at the top, right? It creates hierarchies, creates class systems. It creates a very confined roles and positions for people, and it creates the follower. And it also creates the person who's outsourcing their sovereignty and their power. Because when we look at these gods, so when we go back into the different type of pantheon worships that we had on here on our planet, a lot of these deities, when you look at it, a lot of these deities have characters that are really questionable. Like on both sides, male and female. Like jealousy, rage, hatred going on, fighting against each other going on, seducing people, with sexual powers, witchcraft, like cheating, like you name it. Like these deities are far from ideal. And they're in a very dualistic, maybe we can say very human, because we have all of these expressions here on earth too, right? But then why are we putting them on a pedestal and worshipping them? Why are we giving them any energy? This is this is an absolute craziness. How can anyone come here and be like, I'm some semi-god now? And we have made this entire field of creation into a hierarchy where we have angels, archangels, ascended masters, that's now also new age stuff. We have, of course, like personified God, the church has personified God. There's a son of God. Then we have all these deities, it goes on. Then we have the different dimensions. We have galactic beings from higher dimensions. Like so much outsourcing of responsibility, of power. So much worshipping. Like giving away, hoping someone else can lead our life and can give us answers. And some of these stories, it's like mind-blowing to me. Like even the personification of God into this now male persona primarily, which is vengeful, right? And then all of a sudden there is a son of God, because why actually do we have the whole idea behind Jesus, right, in the church? Is for what? Salvation. That is, we have to ask ourselves sometimes, why do we have these stories? Who is it serving? And it's the idea that we are sinners, and then there's some guy, Jesus, if you pray enough to him, if you pay some money to the church, he's gonna rid us of our sins. I hope I didn't offend anyone, but I'm just like, and the idea that it's such a thing as a son of God, that God is this person. To me, that's my personal belief, source, God, however you want to name it, is a sound field. It's a field of sound. And out of it, everything is created in our time matrix. And everything is part of it, no matter how connected or disconnected you might feel to it. We are not it, but we are part of it. We're created out of it. Everything makes it up in a way, And therefore, to me, to me personally, everything is a child of God. In a way, everything is a child of these three sound fields, because in the end, it's science, it's math, It's sound. It's like you can make a calculation about it, a mathematical calculation about this kind of stuff. And of course, there's consciousness in it, incredible consciousness. And when you think about it, here on Earth, we can experience literally, and then we have all the dimensions, right? Which we also would, it's higher dimensions, everything is good. I'm like, no, not really. A lot of trauma going on everywhere. Tell you, a lot of trauma going on everywhere. But what we have here on Earth, that's why it's so beautiful. It's no matter where you are, second dimension, fifth dimension, seventh dimension. You can experience by default, by design of this universe, you can experience in every single part of our time meanings of the universe, of the dimensions, the absolute connection to source, the absolute oneness with source. And you can also experience the absolutely separation of source. And I feel like some of these religions that we created is part of us really, or having this experience here on earth, having created a container to experience separation from source. Because when we personify certain gods, when we put them on pedestals up there, we think they can save us, or they judge over us. We feel we are separated. We are also totally outsourcing our responsibility, and at the same time here on earth, you can absolutely feel total oneness with source, with creation. And that's, I feel, some of these places originally were really for us, like some of these cathedrals, of a lot of temples that we built, stone circles, etc., were for us to simply experience, to feel oneness with Mother Earth, with the nature, and then also with everything, with source of creation. So that we never forget we are separate. And when we feel the oneness, we do know our impact. We actually understand we have to take responsibility for our life and our actions. We cannot just believe there is someone saving us and someone is going to wash away our little sins. That we are responsible. We are responsible for the things we are doing here. And there is chances, like when you look at life areas, it's not just around religion where we are outsourcing our responsibility and our power and our sovereignty. It's in all areas of life. When you look at health, we're going to the doctor, we are expecting the doctor to know exactly what's going on with us and to know better than us what we need to be doing. And we believe everything the doctor says. And this is not to say that we shouldn't consult experts in a certain field. There is reasons why there's experts. There's reasons why there are doctors, tax advisors, certain experts in certain fields, etc., etc. And why it is also, of course, because we cannot be an expert in every field, why it is helpful for us to get help there, to consult them. But in the end of the day, we have the authority for our own life. So we can consult anyone, a doctor, a spiritual teacher, tax advisor, whatever. But still, it is us who needs to be on top of that area in our life and to make the final decision if are we taking on that advice. Does it resonate with me? Do I take it on? How much do I take it on? And in all honesty, there are a ton of people here that are happy to just follow, that are happy to outsource their power, and that are happy also to be in victim mentality. Because if you take on responsibility for your life, and you feel true oneness with creation, you can no longer be in victim mentality. And that is hard. Believe me, I know, as the Cancer, I know all about victim mentality. Because the Cancer can be sometimes very much like, why did this happen? It's very funny. But, then you kind of have to be disciplined enough to understand yourself and to feel like, okay, it's been a happy half an hour being in victim mentality. Blaming everybody else for the problems. And you have to come back to be like, okay, what's my what's my part in this? And what can I do about it? And we also, our world is not going to change if we just stay in victim mentality, or if all of us just stay into the worshipping and the following what everybody else is doing and saying, there's not going to be any progress in this world. So we do need some people who are here, be like, you know what, I'm going to take responsibility for my life and I'm gonna have a critical mind about everything and see what resonates and throw away the rest, and also just let people do whatever they want to do, because in the end of the day, you know, as I said, we have all these different choices here. We have different choices on earth of what we want to experience. We can totally experience you know, just being a follower, being like the good girl, the good guy, and believing everything else that somebody else is saying. We can, and it's fine, it's a soul choice, and we can also experience something else here. And that's why it's also like with how we want to live, how we want to build things, how we want to deal with our health, how we want to deal with Mother Earth. It's we can have choices there, and we can create in pockets in the world different parts of society. And we have always done, as I said, we've always done. We had absolute worship going on in one place on the earth with total hierarchical society, and in other places of the earth we had egalitarian societies, and we had a society that literally built and created together in co-creation with Mother Earth, to just feel what is oneness, feel what is source, and to serve there. And I always go back to Malta because I love the Maltese temple society in many ways. And you know, even though I was also telling you in the last podcast so much about how they worked with water and how a lot of the temples was about fertility, but this doesn't actually make them into a matriarchy or into a fertility cult. Anyway, this, in my opinion, and even there's a lot of research that points into this, this society was an egalitarian society with male and female leading together at the top. Outrageous, right? A man and women leading together at the top. Very outrageous to many people still to this day, you know, that either want the total matriarchy or the total patriarchy, and the man has to lead and have a say in everything. Sure, in some things, but and you know, when you look at even some of their figurines, they have some very they have a lot of fertility figurines, but they have, as much as they have goddesses, they have phalluses as well, because it's both sides, right, of fertility. You cannot just have only the woman, you need the man too, and the masculine energy. It's always the two. It's, you know, the two that create a third. It's the opposites, the, how do you say, the polarized, the magnetism. And then you have also these figurines which seem to be like, it's so interesting, like they don't have a head, like they have a lot of figurines without a head. So you cannot fully tell the gender. And then on one side it looks like it's a woman, and on the other side it looks like a phallus, like it's the male and female together in one figurine. And this is absolutely, yeah, this is my cat opening the door now. I was like, she's already opened it. She still wants me to open. Okay, I'm gonna help her. Okay, Queen coming in. And yeah, it's showing that there are genders. We have clear defined genders, you know, but showing that these genders both have to work together. And then when you look at it, there mirrors so much of what I learned with the humpback whales, you know, in the breeding grounds of the humpback whales. I've been telling this also in my previous podcast. You have what seems to be males singing and really infusing the breeding ground, the grounds where they make kids, so have sex and give birth. infusing it with very specific frequencies that supporting a harmonious field, harmonious energy field. So it seems to be primarily male singers, but then of course it's the women who give birth, and we don't even know if it's the fathers who are also singing, because there have been very, if I don't know any ever humpback whale birth has been really observed. Usually when they observed birth, there is multiple whales, multiple potential female whales present, but it could also be that male whales are present too at the birth itself. But it doesn't matter, you have for sure still a singer singing and fusing the area. And then when you look at the Maltese temples, which were conception and birthing temples, the underground ones, the hypogeums, which are just below, you have at the top, you had many temples above ground, and you have underground temples underneath, and they were connected with waterways, and both were working with water. You have the underground temples seem to be tuned to a male singing voice. So you could imagine that you had the man singing in the underground temples, that frequency being amplified because the temples were literally built in a way to amplify, to spread the sound, the frequency, spreading it through the waterways, which then goes into the water that's also being used in the above ground temples for the conception and the birthing rites. And you had, of course, in the above ground temples, you will have had many females, many women working there, with men too, potentially, I'm not sure. And so you had the two together, which I think, together serving creation, which I think is absolutely incredible. And you could say, oh, is this a fertility cult? But it's not, in my opinion. Yes, it's in a way, it's a cult of creation, science of creation, but it is both male and female serving equally for that in their best capacities. And it would be so interesting to understand and study even much deeper what were the exact roles of the men and the women in that society and in these specific ceremonies. And also when you look at so many other ancient structures like the stone circles, etc., so many of the other ceremonial buildings, which we now say are tombs, which are really not, all kind of different ceremonial buildings. What were the exact ceremonies and who's done what, because I believe these kind of equal societies where you didn't have different classes among the society. Each person had its value. Each person, no matter what their function was in the society, had an equal value. And then when you had, often I do think, you had at the top a couple who was leading, but in a way much more as advisors and as protectors, rather than as those being worshipped. I don't believe that in those societies anybody was worshipped, down to the temples having no sign of worship. And we have this across many ancient sites. Actually, we have the ancient sites where you have the ton of the different god and deity worships, and then you have ancient sites where you have temples where you have signs of zero worshipping. And having a couple of fertility figures where you have both phalluses and women isn't worship. These could have been ornaments. This doesn't even mean that there were nature deities. I also don't believe in nature deities. I believe in very highly conscious, really incredible sacred places in nature. But again, the moment, in my opinion, you make it a deity, you make something, you come there to put it outside of yourself, in a sense. Yes, we come there to protect places, we come there to bless places, to pray in places for the for the peace everywhere, or pray for clean waters, pray for peace, things like that. But the moment I think you make something into some sort of deity that's outside of you and that wants worship, and specifically that wants sacrifice, which we have going on as well. We have still to this day so much hidden as well of sacrifices going on to all kind of really, not great deities, which are really no gods in any shape or form. And we had this at ancient temples as well. Tons of sacrifice. And the moment something needs a sacrifice, that's a big red flag. A massive red flag. Nothing ever should, we should never ever sacrifice a life. Doesn't matter if it's like a human, an animal life, or anything else. We should never ever sacrifice a life for something else. Sacrifices are a transfer of energy. It's incredible energy siphoning that's happening at sacrifices. And where is the energy going to? The deities. This is what happened at a lot of these Mesoamerican pyramids later on when they were taken over. And in so many other places across the world. This is also what happened, unfortunately, at the Maltese temples later when the Phoenicians came. And the Canaanites. Sacrifices. And what does it do? It pollutes the entire original energy. It's the same when you think about some of the cathedrals and the churches we see now, where you could question where they always actually built to worship. Did the church, some of these buildings, in all honesty, you could ask the question, did the church take them over? And what was their function before the church had them? Thinking that they are a resonant chamber, that they are built with water, there's always water, sacred springs that involved. So their function might have been so different. And then you take it over, you have a lot of praying to a deity, and you have sacrifices going on. Which is all energy transferal to a deity. And I don't know if I need to tell you again who these deities are, where they're coming from. Interesting earth history. Yep. Now let's feel for a moment what it's like to step into a temple where there is just an experience of Mother Earth and of the beauty and of the unity consciousness. And before we're going to do it, because we're going to feel in the body, we're going to wake up the body. So you're going to, if you're not driving, you're just sitting, you're going to rub your hands. You're just going to tap on the body. I love this. This is an exercise out of Meridian Yoga, which is what I do in my classes and courses. And you're just going to tap, because it wakes up your meridians. That's what it stimulates. Your own acupuncture points. That's what. Don't tap on your shoulders when you're pregnant. You're gonna go up, down, up. Yang meridians, down, yin, up, down. Chest. Taking a deep breath. Other side. Shoulders again up when you're pregnant. Down, inside arm, up. That's what we're doing with these buildings. We are literally stimulating Mother Earth. So that's what I mean by body. Heart meridian and down on the side here. It's really nice now in spring to do your sides here. You can also massage here. This is really sometimes tense, but it's amazing to open your gallbladder meridian, to have your liver energy, your creative energy, free flow of blood flowing, going down over your lower belly, your legs, down the sides of your legs, tapping up, see you need to move, tapping up on the inside of your legs, down the front, stomach meridian of your legs, up on the back, flatter, lower back, kidneys. It's really nice keeping them warm. You can massage them. And I'm just gonna place a hand over your lower abdomen, a hand over your heart, and feeling into your body, feeling into your breath. Giving your body some attention. Maybe you just want to move in a certain way. Something's tight somewhere. Giving your body some love. When we remember our body, we also remember Mother Earth and her body, which is the one we're walking on every single day. We're breathing the fresh air that she provides to us. And this body is a temple, your body. And so we have built many temples for the body of Mother Earth, and I invite you now to keep your eyes closed. Still be with the breath. I invite you now to first hear, and you imagine you are hearing bird songs. You're in a forest. It's almost like a jungle. It's warm. You're hearing the wind through the leaves. Now you're feeling the sun on your body. Feeling the sun flowing down, kissing your face. Feeling the warm sun and the warm breeze on your arms. You're coming down your legs, you're feeling your feet on the ground, you're walking barefoot. You're feeling the soil, the grass. And as you're feeling with the soles of your feet, you're feeling into the soil, and you can feel that there's water running underneath your feet, under in the soil, in the earth you're standing on. And you feel how this water connects to the water running in your body. It's almost like all the water in your body is getting attuned with the water that you feel underground. And you're going to follow this water now that you're feeling underground. It's going to guide you. So you're taking the steps, and I invite you to, for a moment, imagine it's like you're following a little water vein. And you're stepping for a moment to the side, and just feeling through the soles of your feet the difference. What does it feel to stand with one foot on the water vein and one foot on the side of the water vein? There's a difference in the electromagnetism. So you will feel on the water vein, you feel slightly kind of charged, energized. And off the water vein, it's kind of just neutral, calm. And we're going to kind of go back, both feet on the water vein. And I invite you to actually do this also outside, just like as a little exploration in the park, somewhere. You're going to continue walking on the water vein, and you really feel the energized energy coming off the water vein. I want you to feel a little bit into the quality of the water that you're walking on. And almost like as if you're tuning into the minerals that are in the water. Each water vein has different quality. And I want you to feel, to see if that specific water vein is speaking to a specific organ inside of you. So just imagine like how the energy of the water vein is coming up through the soles of your feet, is traveling up into your legs and up into your torso, where you have a variety of different organs. You can check in with your kidneys, check in with your liver, check in with your spleen, check in with the heart, check in with the lungs. Where do you feel this water most? And for now, just feel this energizing energy there. And we're going to continue. So the waterway is guiding you. You're walking it slowly. And it's going to bring you to an opening in the jungle. And here in this opening, you see this beautiful temple. It's an open temple. It's absolutely beautiful, beautiful pillars on the sides. Has a semi-open roof. And there is a beautiful fountain in the middle, and you're gonna go through it. And I want you, because the temple now, you're gonna feel the floor of the temple. I want you to imagine for a moment, what is the floor of the temple? What stone? What quality? Is it marble? Is it specific stone? What is it? And now for a moment, as you're now standing on the floor of the temple and you know that this water vein is leading up to the fountain in the middle. You're not going to go there yet. I want you to feel for a moment what happened here in the temple with the energy of the water when you're stepping off the earth into the temple onto stone or marble, whatever you want to imagine it. What's happening with the energy of that water? Where's the energy going? And I want you for a moment to go a little bit to the side. You're off the water and you feel to the side, and you're going to touch one of the pillars or the walls, however you imagine a temple. And see what you feel when you touch it. And then you go back towards the middle. And here we have the source of the water, the spring, the fountain. And I invite you for a moment to just be with it, to be with the source of the water. and to feel into its presence. Its calmness. Its aliveness. And its wisdom. And you know that this temple was purely built for this water. I want you to really feel with all of your skin, because now you're in this temple here, so the energy of the water is amplified here in this room, and you can imagine the building like open maybe to one side, close to the other side, however you can feel this best. But feeling how the energy of the water is being contained in this room, at the same time amplified. So you really feel it in your skin, in your own waterways everywhere, in your cells. And in a way you are one with that water. There is no separation from that water. And you're going to take your hands, you're going to drink from the water. And you're feeling how when this water flows within you now, that here in this temple there is even though you're drinking it, but even energetically there's no separation from this water, even without drinking it. And now there is temples open to one side and there's a bird coming in. A small bird sitting down at the fountain. And a bird starts singing. I want you to feel its song through the water as well, through the temple here. There isn't a separation from you either, from this bird, as the song travels through your skin, through your blood veins, through your cells, through the water here. And as you're sitting here, feeling the water, feeling the bird song, I invite you to just feel into the mother from which all of creation comes. the depths of earth, so from which this water comes. The beat of creation of the mother. From earth. And we're going to leave this water with a blessing of gratitude for everything that Mother Earth gives, provides. And for the wisdom she holds for us. And with that, I invite you to slowly walk out from this temple, and as you're stepping out, stepping back onto just soil, earth, I want you to again feel for a moment into the difference of the temple energy and now just here standing on the soil. And just feeling how the temple was really a house. A house for Mother Earth's magnificence and gifts and waters. And with that, coming back into the body, coming back into your breath, just moving. And slowly opening your eyes, and I hope you felt this a bit, and I really recommend to you to go to a sacred spring somewhere and to sit by it for a while and to just feel. You know what we just did here is now as a visualization to do that actually in nature of Mother Earth. And to feel into the water and its sacredness, and to imagine how we have built temples for the water, and how we have come together there to sing with the water, to be with the water, and to feel unity through the water. And if you want to work more with water and the water element and also in your body, I have a workbook out about working with water and the water element, and more information in general about hydration and what is healthy water. I'm going to link it in the show notes. Otherwise, if you're local in Amsterdam, I'm going to link the workshops I'm holding out in the park, where we feel the energies of Mother Earth, where we feel the energies in the ground and of trees, and there's some reading. You get to feel our body as well, and some harp music. And I'm also going to link my next course, Healing the Mother Wound, my next online course, where we also work with the body to connect back to our own gifts and to the beautiful mother energy that Earth is. So thanks so much for listening. I wish you a wonderful 2 weeks, I guess, whenever I get inspired again to do another podcast. Enjoy spring, enjoy the beautiful energy outside, and I see you. Bye bye. Follow me on Instagram at Echoes and Roots for grounded spirituality, ancient wisdom, and nature-based living.